Hey everyone, this is James from Lycanthro.
This is Nora from Battle Beast.
This is Tony from Sonata Arctica.
Hi, this is Ida from Trisphere.
This is Alex from Lisa Eyes, and you're listening to the Great Metal Debate podcast.
Welcome back, Metalheads. The podcast returns with another amazing metal artist interview. Today we have on the show singer Bruna Rocha from the Brazilian symphonic power metal band Revengin. Bruna, thanks so much for joining us on the Great Metal Debate.
Robert, I would like to thank you for the opportunity to meet the first time I am on a podcast, an American podcast. So I'm very happy and nervous at the same time. But thank you very much for the opportunity, really.
We're all metal fans, so no need to be nervous. We love music, we love metal, so it's all good. So before we get into the band and music, generally, how are things in Brazil with regard to lockdowns and the return of live music? Are there any concerts in your area or live shows now or in the near future?
Yes, here in Brazil, we are having many online events, right? Online fests. Since last year, we already played, right? In many of them. And here we are trying to do the best we can because we can't tour, right? So we are doing like many feats, collabs here too, and many online festivals.
That's great. Do you feel like you've had a good response to that as far as fans? Are they I can understand they're eager for the live experience. Is the live online experience making up for that?
Yes, it's completely different, right? We as artists, musicians, we love being on stage. So it's completely different. So for many of us, it's hard to be in front of the camera all the time doing many online things, right? Me in particular, I guess it's very hard because I'm not this kind of person that can do these things every time. I'm a musician. I love the stage. But there is something very interesting, right? We never produced so many material in our band time, as we are doing right now. If you can see, we already released 4 new musics, 2 new video clips, right? So it's a trend. And we have a great response from the public, right? Of course, we are having to reinvent ourselves all the time, right? And we are here praying to all this finish as soon as possible.
Well, I can tell you from the U.S., there is light at the end of the tunnel. I'm going to a live metal concert tomorrow, so hopefully soon in Brazil, those opportunities will open up as well. There will be concerts again soon. I am curious. I do want to ask you a little bit about Brazil. There's so many great metal bands that I know from Brazil. We've had a few on the podcast, bands like Angra, Hybria, Sepultura, obviously, Nervosa. Do you feel like that bands in Brazil and South America, do they get their due recognition compared to, say, metal acts out of Europe and North America?
I guess we have, for example, we are a very mixed people, we have very many different influences, right? And this time, I guess, it's the opportunity for many other bands to show up, right? We have Nervosa, we have Angra, but we have so many underground bands too, right? And it is different from European and American bands, right? Of course, I don't know if I can say this. People consume can I say this? The band material in very different way. For example, when you're talking about merchandise, this kind of stuff, right? In Europe and American, we can sell everything we have, especially the album and the physical album, for example, right? Here, it's more digital, it's more online stuff. So I guess the mentality, it's different, you know? I don't know if I answered the question.
No, that's interesting. You're saying that the fan reception experience is a little different there in South America. So
a little, no, it's very different, by the way. Because I guess people in Europe, I don't know in American because we didn't have the opportunity yet to play there. But we played. We had a tour in 2014 in Europe, right? And the reception, they like to know new songs, to hear about new sounds, you know? So when we went there, it was amazing. It was only we four on the band in Europe for the first time, right? And they like to know you as an artist and know your parts, you know? Mm-hmm. But here in Brazil, it's been different. They are not so much into listen to new things, listen to new bands. That's why we are always doing many feats, many collabs, you know? Yes. It was a way we found to introduce our work to our people.
Well, let's talk about that work, and I'll kind of jump ahead, you know, to your first full-length album, Symphonics, released in 2012. You know, just talk a little bit about what that album did for the band as far as building the fan base and recognition, critical acclaim.
Yes, Symphonics was our first full. Before it, we had an EP called Synergy Through the Ashes, right? And it was with Symphonics that we could go to Europe by an invitation, right? Yes. And it's amazing because on the time, right, in that time, we were not so into internet, right? So you were on the road, and we wanted to play, right? So it's very hard to find things from that time. That's a great thing now we can do because of the situation we are living, right? But Thematic was a very, very personal album, right? It was our first. We were trying many different things there, right? We are mixing many things. If you can listen to it, if you have the opportunity, you're going to see that each song has a different thing there. They are not like you're going to listen a concept through it. You're going to listen many thoughts through it, you know. And we are about to release a new album. It's already done. It's been mixed and mastered in Europe, in Netherlands, by the way. It should be released last year, but we had to stop and thinking because we can't touring, so we can't do anything by now, right?
I hear your cats.
You can hear my cats. I have 10 cats.
Oh my goodness!
Take a look.
Wow, 10
I love
cats.
cats. Yeah, that's the problem. I am not using my earphone. You're going to listen, everybody here.
Well, that's sweet. They have 10 cats. Sorry, I got you off kilter there with the cat question, but I could hear him in the background there. So
yeah, but now I guess he gave up. He entered into the room. Yes.
Yeah, well, I have 2 dogs, but my wife has them blocked off in the other part of the house, so they won't be.
Sorry.
I have listened to Symphonics, and I agree. I think if you think of an album like a meal, you can think about whether you're getting a lot of different tastes in the palate. And I feel like that's the way that album is. Would you, if you don't mind, talk a little bit about the influences that led to the sound? Like, I'm curious, what sort of music were you and the other members listening to, or what influenced you all to create that album? Because it does have a lot of different sounds and interesting. Yeah. Again, I think you all generally fall under symphonic power metal, but you're not limited to that. There's a lot of different sounds in there.
Yes. I usually I say that we came from different schools in metal, right? When you talk about metal. When you talk about the drummer, Hugo, he's very, very into extreme stuff, you know? He had another band, and it was an extreme band. So he came with that. Thiago is more heavy metal, speed metal stuff, right? And me, I am from Gothic, classical, because I am a operatic singer too. I studied at a school music here, right? Music school. So I guess this mix, we never had the intention of being symphonic metal band. No, it's something that happened very naturally, you know? We mixed it all, we tried it all, and the result, we said, oh, Jesus, that's it. We liked it, right? But thematic was like laboratory. Can I say that?
Yes.
Right. For us. This new album is different. We can understand the conception, all the idea through it. It's not thematics that you have different ambiences and songs, you know. And I guess the song we completely made together, and it's the one I love most, if I can say that, because I love all the songs in thematic, right? It's 90 Chains of Sorrow, because it was the song that we finished literally a phase in the band, you know. We had already passed through many troubles with the other bands, the other members, right? And the people were telling us that it doesn't worthy, right? You won't get anywhere. And this period of changing took almost 9 months. That's why we called the song 90 Chains of Sorrow.
Okay.
Yes, right. We were trying to find ourselves and reconstruct everything we had, right? And so it's a very special song to us.
Wow.
Yes.
So I'm gonna you jumped into the new album, so I'm gonna kind of mix up my questions here a little bit. If you don't mind, tell me, you've indicated that this album is significantly different than the debut album. What was the writing process different this time around? And especially given COVID, were you able to get together to write, or did you end up composing different parts of the music separately?
This album is completely different, right? We know exactly what we wanted to do, right? What we wanted to use with instruments, right? But usually the lyrics, it's me and Hugo that write them. And when we talk about the conception, we don't think about we are going to write songs about werewolves or about vampires. No, right? We see this in the end of the process, right? So, but this time we knew what we wanted to do technically, talking about the technically in each song, you know, even because we learned many things when we were in Europe in 2014. So we came with many different ideas of compositions and the whole process. So we could do differently from we did with Sematics.
You mentioned Europe a couple of times now, and I want to go back to that. You got to play BIM in the Netherlands in 2014. Tell me, it's obvious that had an impact on you, being able to go overseas. What was that experience like? And maybe also talk about other festivals and shows you've been able to play.
We played there in not only Netherlands, but we played in Germany, Hungary, we played Slovakia, Poland, Yes. And all this was possible because of one invitation we had a year before 2014. It was it was strange. I can say this word. It was weird because we were playing in an event, right? That everything went wrong. The keyboard player forgot the principal keyboard.
Oh my.
Yes.
Wow.
Terrible. The event, we started playing two hours after we should have done, So I was incredibly nervous, stressed. And there was a song he used to play in our concert from After Forever, Monolith of Doubt.
Oh, now I'm a huge, I love After Forever. Oh my goodness, so great.
And I play Monolith of Doubt without the keyboard.
You can't.
But we did somehow. The keyboard player took with him the Gaia. It was a mid, a mid board, I guess. Only effects, right? Only effects. And I said, okay, let's do it. But I didn't know in that event there was a Dutch guy that was there. He was studying about, I'm going to tell this in Portuguese, okay? Favelas, right? It's like he was studying something like a social something there, but he was there. The important thing that he was there. And he thought the way we were playing Monolith of Doubt very amazing. I thought, this is not happening. Jesus, how can I do that? And we became so friends that the next year he called us to play in FAM.
Oh, wow.
Because he thought so different. I guess it was so weird that that was amazing at the same time, probably.
See, that's great. A situation that could have been, you're thinking this is a negative, and it turns out to be such a positive. What an awesome story.
Exactly. It's like the people say, right? If you have the lemons, let's make a lemonade. And it was what we did, right? So from this invitation, we had a tour in Europe. We played alive in a radio too, right? It wasn't the first time that we played our songs in acoustic version.
Oh, wow.
I had to learn my own music in acoustic way in one day. But it was fantastic, and we learned it a lot. I get this brought us a very professional view of the thing, right? Here in Brazil, we have many great bands, but they don't have this professional view of it, right? They don't think they are professionals. It's a kind of service you are doing, right? So that's changed a lot our way of doing music.
Big influence that trip had for you. Did you get to see or meet any bands that you that you looked forward to, or what was the best experience that you had just as a music and metal fan?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand.
Sure. Just did you get to see any metal bands perform, or did you get to meet any artists that you were a fan of, that you looked up to during that trip to Europe?
About Europe.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. And fan, we played with, as I think that's the name. As-Ray. It's a gothic band from 80s. You know?
Wow.
Yes. And we were at the same room waiting to play, you know. So it was amazing because I like gothic, especially gothic when I talk about 80s, you know. Yeah. And you played with Mayan.
Oh, Mayan.
Yes. We played
so
with
good.
them. So I met Mark Dancing, you know.
He's a god. Oh my goodness, he's so good.
It was very amazing, very, very nice experience. We like it a lot.
Outstanding. Well, not to talk about other bands, you guys have been, as you've talked about, producing some amazing new music, and really you've been pumping out the videos. Over the past 12 months, you guys have put out a string of great videos that includes new music, also some older songs, a couple that caught my eye. The concept video for Dance Around the Flames, that's so well done. And then most recently, you all did a quarantine session video for a previous track, White Lies. What was the thought process that the band had about creating all these videos? You've just put out a lot of content recently.
Yes, and there is something that I don't know. Probably you know because we're talking with Emerson, but Emerson is living in Argentina.
Oh, I did not know that.
Together.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, any of the videos, you know. So we had to think how we could do that without people. Now people are going to know, right?
You wouldn't know it.
Yeah, but Emerson's living in Argentina and we can't travel, right? So I thought, how can we do that in a way that be good, all right? So you thought about the effects we wanted, the scenes we wanted, you know. We recorded parts of the videos using the cell phones, not cameras, right? So it was very funny to record them. Yeah, and a lot of praise, you know.
Well, they came out great. I will admit, I think one of my favorites, you all did, I can't even believe this, a symphonic metal version of Iron Maiden's Stranger in a Strange Land. Whose idea was that? That's such a, I mean, it's great, but it's not something I would have thought of, I have to admit.
Oh, yeah, that was my idea because I'm a great fan of Iron Maiden. I guess everybody is a great fan of Iron Maiden. Iron Maiden has influenced our lives, I guess, right? And I really like this album, right? And this is the one of my favorites too. When we were about to release the Thematics, we had already done this here in Brazil. So the guy in Europe, that the label in Europe, wanted something different to put in the album, right? Because we had already released. So I thought, well, I can do a version from a song of Iron Maiden, right? Let's do this. Can I try? Then it was amazing. I love it to compose the orchestras and the vocal parts.
That's the thing that got your vocal approach is so it's almost jarring, but it's great. I mean, it fits, but it's obviously such a different interpretation. I love it.
Oh, thank you. It's because although I am an operatic singer, I can't sing like opera all the time. So I try to mix the vocals according the pieces of the song. You know, what sounds better? How can I do this to sound better? That's the way I compose all the vocal line of a song. You know, of course, I have this lyric base, right, in all songs, but I'm always mixing. And Iron Maiden was another laboratory to do so. And I was feeling, okay, let's do it now. I can, but I was feeling, oh, what have I done? I'm going to ruin everything.
But I think that's, and I'd be curious your thoughts. I think that's important. We do album reviews as part of the podcast, and one of the recent albums I reviewed, I said, this band's done a good job, but they're not taking risks. They're not taking enough risks. I'd almost rather sometimes they would fall on their face and make a mistake than play it too safe. It seems like there would be a lot of safer Iron Maiden songs you all could have chosen to cover. So, what as an artist, talk to me a little bit about that, about, taking where you want to take risks, but also, maybe not getting too crazy where fans don't know what to expect at all.
Yes, I guess when you take the risks for the first time, right? I guess it's the worst part of it, to do it at the first time. After that, we are always trying. I face this like, okay, I don't want to have this if. I don't want to live with the doubt of doing something or not, right? So I am the kind of person that likes to take risks. I found this after that concert that I played Monolith of Doubt without the keyboard. I had to do it, right? And it was in a very stressful situation for me, right? Because I was imagining to do something and I have to do something completely different. But after that, I get my mind open in a way that I'm not afraid of trying things anymore the way I was, right? And I guess this is how an artist grows, If you always be in a comfortable zone, you're going to do the same as many people are doing. And that's something I don't want to, right? Here in Brazil, it's very difficult to be a metal musician, right? We don't have any kind of, you're going to see my cat. If you have any kind of, we are not treated like a musician, like other styles here, right? People here ask you, oh, you play, you sing, what else you do? But what's your job? It's like this, right? And if I have to leave, I have all the difficulty to do something, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do the best I can. So I'm not going to be afraid of trying because it's already hard to do it. And I can say it's something we all in the band think the same way. For example, I have to do a version from a song, a Led Zeppelin song called Living Loving Maid.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
From Led Zeppelin, we are going to do a version of this. And it's completely, I was terrified because the whole song is completely different from what I used to do. I do usually, but you're going to do. And the result is being amazing. We are almost finishing.
Wow.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah. And that's the thing. If you don't take risks, you're going to do the same as many people around the world and going to anywhere.
We like, as fans, listening to music and feeling you taking that risk. Like, that's part of the experience of the music. So That's awesome.
Yes, absolutely.
So, beginning to wrap up with you, you've talked about the upcoming album and the work on it, obviously without giving away details that, you can't at this point. What can you tell fans as far as maybe when to expect the album and maybe what plans you all have? Are you thinking about maybe doing a release show online or something like that? What can fans expect, pre-sales, those sorts of things for the new album?
Yes, this new album, I say he's a little bit darker than Thematic was, It's something like to embrace all you are, and you are not only light. When you admit that, when you embrace the dark part of you, you are a complete being, human being, and that is what the new album is about, and we are mixing many Brazilian sounds here in this album, different from
oh, really?
Yes,
interesting.
yes, we are mixing. We think it's time to do a thing like that, right? Thematics was great, but was very experimental. And this we wanted to, as we are talking about the dark side of us, this tribal thing, it's like more tribal,
Mm-hmm.
And we wanted to put something into Brazilian style to
Awesome.
mix that. Yes.
Love it.
It's different, completely different from Thematics, right? And we are planning to tour next year. You're already planning to first Argentina, I guess, in April, right? And Europe, June, I guess, right? You're going to do Argentina, some gigs here in Brazil, and then you're going to Europe again.
You've got to be so excited. I can't imagine how much you must be looking forward to that.
Me too, and I was concerned because we tried to do last week, but I had problems, right? And I said, oh, this can't be happening. Oh, my phone, before we started, I wanted so much to do that. But I'm happy because we do, right? So, anyway, that's what we can expect from the new album.
Well,
It's dark. It's something like do or die. It's not everything's in your hand, and you have to embrace it to change the things you want to change.
Based on the singles you've released so far, I'm really excited about it. Cannot wait to hear this new album. Finally, Bruna, what is the best way for fans to purchase music and merchandise from Revengin, including the EP Inner Dark, as well as your previous album, Thematics?
Okay, we are already in all the streaming platforms. We have Instagram. If people want to buy a merchandise, we can contact us by direct in Instagram, right? But we are about to release the new website. So just send us a message and we are there to do whatever people ask to.
Well, again, from what I've heard so far, and obviously your amazing previous work, I'm excited about it. As soon as there are pre-order opportunities for it, I'm going to be among the first to order my album and can't wait to hear the whole thing. It's going to be great. I know you'll be so excited to hit the stage once again and show what you've been working on all this time. Best of wishes to you, Bruna, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Really, thank you a lot.